In every era, power leaves a mark. History remembers. The world reacts. This is Rowan, and this is Civica Insights. In 1953, a secret operation changed the course of Middle Eastern history. It involved spies, propaganda, riots in the streets, and a covert mission to remove a democratically elected leader. The operation was organized by the Central Intelligence Agency and supported by British intelligence. Its target was Iran's Prime Minister, Mohammad Mosaddegh, and the result would reshape the relationship between Iran and the United States for decades. For many historians, this moment marks the beginning of the deep mistrust that still defines relations between the two countries today. To understand why this happened, we need to go back to the early 1950s, when oil, power, and the Cold War collided. In the early 20th century, Iran possessed one of the largest oil reserves in the world, but despite that wealth, the Iranian people saw very little of the profits. Most of the oil industry was controlled by a British company, known as the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. The company had been extracting oil from Iran for decades. While Britain benefited enormously, many Iranians believed the arrangement was deeply unfair. Workers were poorly paid. The Iranian government received only a small share of the profits, and the country remained economically fragile despite its vast resources. By the late 1940s and early 1950s, anger over this inequality was growing. Many people believed Iran's natural resources should belong to the Iranian people, not foreign companies. That belief helped bring a new political leader to power. In 1951, a nationalist politician named Mohammad Mosaddegh became the Prime Minister of Iran. Mosaddegh was charismatic, educated, and deeply committed to Iranian sovereignty. He believed that Iran's future depended on controlling its own resources. So shortly after taking office, he made a bold decision. He nationalized the country's oil industry. This meant the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company would lose control of Iranian oil operations. For many Iranians, this was a moment of pride and independence. Crowds celebrated in the streets. Mosaddegh quickly became a national hero. But in Britain, the reaction was very different. To the British government, nationalization was a massive economic loss, and they were determined to reverse it. Britain responded with economic pressure. They organized a global boycott of Iranian oil. They blocked Iran from selling its oil on international markets, and they imposed financial restrictions designed to weaken the Iranian economy. These measures caused serious economic hardship inside Iran, but Britain wanted more than economic pressure. They wanted Mosaddegh removed from power. At first, British intelligence attempted to undermine the Prime Minister on their own, but their efforts faced serious obstacles. Iran had expelled many British officials from the country, so Britain turned to a powerful ally, the United States. At the time, the world was divided by the Cold War. The United States and its allies feared the spread of communism, particularly from the Soviet Union. Iran's location made it strategically important. It bordered the Soviet Union and sat near vital oil routes. American officials worried that political instability in Iran could open the door to communist influence. British leaders used this fear to convince the United States that Mosaddegh posed a potential risk. Eventually, American leaders agreed to support a covert operation. The mission would be organized by the CIA. Its code name, Operation Ajax. The operation was led by a CIA officer named Kermit Roosevelt Jr. Instead of sending troops, the plan relied on covert manipulation. CIA agents began funding propaganda campaigns. Newspapers were paid to publish stories criticizing Mosaddegh. Political groups opposing the Prime Minister received financial support. Religious leaders were encouraged to turn against him. The goal was to create the appearance that Mosaddegh had lost public support. Meanwhile, Iran's monarch, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was persuaded to support the operation. The Shah signed a decree dismissing Mosaddegh and appointing a new prime minister, General Fazlollah Zahedi. But the first attempt to carry out the coup failed. Mosaddegh discovered the plot. Some conspirators were arrested, and the Shah fled the country. For a moment, it appeared that Operation Ajax had collapsed, but the story was not over yet. In August 1953, the capital city of Tehran became the center of growing unrest. Large crowds filled the streets. Some demonstrators supported Mosaddegh. Others demanded the return of the Shah. Violence spread through the city. Government buildings were attacked. Political groups clashed in the streets. Behind the scenes, operatives connected to Operation Ajax continued organizing demonstrations and distributing money to mobilize supporters. The situation quickly spiraled out of control. Then, on August 19, 1953, everything changed. Military units loyal to the Shah moved into action. Fighting erupted across Tehran. Mossadegh's residence was attacked. By the end of the day, the government had fallen. Prime Minister Mosaddegh was arrested. His government collapsed. The coup had succeeded. Between 200 and 300 people were killed during the violence in Tehran. General Fazlollah Zahedi was installed as the new prime minister, and the Shah soon returned to Iran to reclaim his authority. For the United States and Britain, Operation Ajax was considered a strategic success. Iran remained aligned with Western powers, and the Shah ruled the country with strong support from the United States. But inside Iran, many people saw the coup very differently. They believed their democracy had been destroyed by foreign intervention. That resentment grew for decades. Eventually, it exploded in 1979 during the Iranian Revolution. The Shah was overthrown. Iran became an Islamic republic, and relations with the United States collapsed. Many historians believe the roots of that conflict can be traced back to one event, the coup of 1953, a secret operation that changed the history of Iran and the Middle East forever.